A local coffee shop knocked off its foundation. Several people hurt after a dump truck slammed into two buildings. What we know so far.
Plus, the Moses Lake superintendent is stepping down after an investigation found some questionable financial transactions.
Much needed rain on the way to the inland northwest, but also tracking the potential for flash flooding.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM News at 5. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
It's good to have you here. I'm Whitney Ward. 7 people are hurt tonight after a multi-vehicle crash that completely shut down Freya near the I-90 on-ramp. Police say a commercial dump truck hit several other vehicles before hitting the Liberty Tax Services building and a Dutch Bros coffee stand.
KREM 2's Morgan Trow spoke to several people who saw that crash today. She joins us live from the scene tonight with what they're saying. Morgan?
Mark, Whitney, behind this red tape is what is left of the Dutch Bros coffee stand. Right now, as you can probably see, crews are trying to clean up the area. They've already pulled out a car that was in the drive-through line that was crushed. Police say they do this because they want to make sure it is safe to investigate. This comes after a man who was driving a 10-wheeler hauling industrial equipment crashed into numerous cars, curbs, and 2 buildings. A tractor trailer ripped across South Freya Street, barreling through 2 buildings. Spokane Fire says 6 vehicles were damaged by the crash, but people were trapped inside a coffee stand.
Both buildings have sustained catastrophic structural damage.
Spokane Fire adds that there were 7 victims, ranging in age from children to adults. Only one of the patients had serious but non-life-threatening injuries. The owner of the coffee stand says one of his employees suffered a broken hip.
We got back from orientation and I thought I needed some coffee, but I was lazy, so I didn't get up and go, but I'm kind of glad I didn't.
The driver was arrested by the Washington State Patrol for suspected DUI. Police have identified the 48-year-old suspect as McGavin Medrain. He has been charged with vehicular assault. This area will be closed off for the time being, police say, as they still investigate the area. Reporting in the Lower South Hill, Morgan Trow, KREM 2 News.
Looks like they're pulling that trailer out from the rubble behind Morgan there. My goodness. Yeah. Morgan, thank you very much. Well, a possible shakeup in leadership at the Moses Lake School District is coming at the end of the month. The district held a special meeting today to work on terms to mutually separate with the district superintendent.
This comes after an investigation into financial concerns. Our own Ian Smay breaks down now what lies ahead for the district.
Moses Lake Superintendent Joshua Meek and the Moses Lake School District Board of Directors are currently in negotiations about the terms of him leaving his position. If the two sides can come to terms on a mutually agreeable separation, that will be effective at the end of the month. The pending separation agreement stems from a series of audits. According to the school board, the results of the audits brought up questions about financial decisions, including some involving Meek. According to the board, they included the payment of special project stipends for some employees, including Meek himself. The board also claims Meek did not provide receipts from his district credit card in a timely manner. Meek allegedly did not follow district policy to reimburse the district for personal purchases. Another claim is that Meek did not report his time off work correctly. The board unanimously passed a motion today during a special meeting to continue negotiations with Meek. In a press release from the district, Meek is quoted as saying, "The Moses Lake School District has an incredible future for its students, staff, and community. The district has been a staple in my life for the past 18 years, and I will miss it incredibly." He also committed to a smooth transition. Board President Vicki Melcher is also quoted in that release. She said in part, quote, "A decision by the board to work toward separating Dr. Meek from his superintendency was made knowing it would be best for the district as a whole at this time and under the circumstances." If the two sides can reach an agreement on those terms, Meek's last day will be August 31st, the day before the first day of school. We don't know yet who will replace Meek, and the board would have to vote on the terms of the agreement before it is finalized. In the studio, Ian Smay, KREM 2 News.
After weeks of controversy, WSU head football coach Nick Rolovich says he will follow Governor Inslee's mandate for higher ed employees to get vaccinated against COVID-19. That's what he said yesterday, but there's still some confusion on if that means he'll get the vaccine or seek a medical or religious exemption. It is widely believed that Rolovich had a personal exemption in the past to not get the vaccine, but that's not an option in Inslee's latest mandate. So if he were to seek a medical or religious exemption, it would be investigated by the state. As they have said, they will only take sincere exemptions. Today at practice, Rolovich was asked to clarify his comments from yesterday and if he would be getting vaccinated. Here's what he had to say.
Seemed to be a little confusion yesterday when you were asked about the vaccine. You said that you were going to follow the mandate. Does that mean that you're going to get the vaccine?
Well, I appreciate it, but I'm going to follow the mandate.
Is there a reason you don't want to specify one way or the other?
No.
You're the state's highest paid employee. Just what kind of message do you think you're sending by not saying what you'll do in terms of the mandate?
I'm going to follow the mandate.
And have your personal, I know that you're going to keep your feelings about it private, but have those changed at all with how much the Delta variant has become deadly over the last few weeks?
I appreciate it, Brent, but I'm going to follow the mandate, what they tell me to do.
So the new Washington state COVID-19 vaccine mandate is among the strictest in the nation. It goes into effect statewide on Monday. The deadline, though, is October 18th. The vaccine mandate applies to most state, school, healthcare, and childcare employees, though there are exceptions. Employees can seek a medical or religious exemption, but they do have to talk with their employer's Human Resources Office for accommodation. So starting Monday, North Idaho College will also be requiring multi-layer face coverings. They'll be required at all times inside NIC buildings whenever 2 or more people are present. The college president said the decision was made simply in consideration of the Delta variant, the rise in COVID cases in Idaho, and the number of patients in Idaho ICUs.
Now to tracking the coronavirus cases across the inland Northwest, starting with North Idaho. Today, the Panhandle Health District reporting 36 new cases today, bringing the total number of cases now to more than 28,000 since the start of the pandemic. No new deaths were reported today, and 92 people are currently hospitalized being treated for COVID. Meantime, here in Spokane, the Regional Health District reporting another high number of coronavirus cases today. 330 new cases were reported today. 160 people are currently hospitalized due to the virus. 3 new deaths were also reported today.
And as the new school year quickly approaches, healthcare leaders are warning parents to be prepared for potential COVID outbreaks. That's despite the governor's new mandate for school workers.
That's really tough, and we don't want to overstate that, but people are going to get sick. And there's going to be times we're going to quarantine. Maybe it's a whole classroom, maybe it's a whole building that needs to close down. Obviously, we're trying to avoid that with all of these mitigation strategies.
Educators are suggesting to visit the school before the first day of class just to walk around and get a better sense of the layout as well as those new COVID precautions.
Helping our kids succeed in school, that is the goal of the KREM Cares Tools to Schools campaign going on right now. When students return to school in the next couple of weeks, we want to make sure they have all the backpacks and supplies they need to succeed. But we need your help. So here's our Laura Papetti with more details on that.
Hard to believe we're going back to school in the next couple of weeks. I shouldn't say we. I'm not going back to school. They don't want me. I've already been through it. But the kids are going back to school. And for some of them, they haven't had that back to school feeling since 2019. So many of them need a backpack and all the supplies. We've received about $33,000 in donations so far. We're so amazed. So thank you. We have a long way to go. We'd like to get to about $60,000 to provide 2,000 backpacks and supplies. So here's how you can help. Any area Starbucks through the weekend, they have the scan codes on the cups and at the register. You can make any type of donation you want. It can be $1 to $1,000. You can go to Office Depot in the area. They're taking monetary donations through the end of the month. And you can always visit KREM.com. Again, we need to get to that goal, and we're trying to do that by the end of next week so we can give the backpacks and supplies to the kids before they head to school. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Laura, thank you very much. Let's talk weather, shall we? Because it is Friday. Pretty cool today. Temperatures in the 70s, and we're actually tracking rain in the forecast. Michelle, I love the fact that we're expecting maybe some rain finally, right?
Yeah, so much welcome rain across the region, and even though it's going to be happening over the weekend, it's really only going to be wet for part of the weekend, so it's not going to be a complete washout. Unfortunately, with the rain that we're receiving, there is such a thing as too much of a good thing, and so we do have flash flood watches in effect for today through the day on Saturday, mainly because some of these thunderstorms are going to be slow moving, and so they can dump a large amount of rain at a short amount of time in areas where we've had fires, so we've got burn scars. The ground there doesn't absorb the water as well. And in steep terrain, combined with the burn scars, you can see flash flooding, especially when you get under one of those thunderstorms and get some heavy rain in a short amount of time. Places like Spokane in the city, probably not that much of a big deal. It's going to be hit or miss, but again, in some of that higher terrain and especially over the burn scars, we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on the potential for flash flooding. Right now, we're just starting to see the action get started here, showing some showers and thunderstorms. Not as concerned about the lightning this go round, mainly because we have the cooler temperatures and we're seeing a decent amount of rain and associated with these thunderstorms. Of course, you know, we don't want lightning at all, but not as concerned as we might have been last week when temperatures were in the upper 90s. Temperatures right now pretty comfortable. 73 in Spokane. We've got some 80s up in Omak and in Lewiston, but pretty much looking at 70s all across the region and looking at below average temperatures over the weekend. For the next 12 hours, though, if you're going to be out early in the evening, you can probably avoid getting wet here locally, but do expect some of that rain to come in later tonight and then through the day tomorrow. We're looking at scattered showers and thunderstorms for Saturday with a high of only 70. A little bit nicer on Sunday with mostly sunny skies, 76. A little bit breezy, though, and Monday mostly sunny and feeling like fall, highs in the lower 70s.
All right, Michelle, thank you very much. Well, today marks 10 years since University of Idaho student Katie Benoit was killed by one of her professors. This weekend, students and staff are planning to gather on campus to remember her. Back in 2011, Katie was gunned down at her home by a former professor that she'd been in a relationship. In the spring of 2011, their relationship ended and Katie filed a sexual harassment complaint to U of I, saying he had pointed a loaded gun at her head on 3 different occasions and that she was afraid for her life. She also made a report to police. In August, that professor resigned from the university. Weeks later, he killed Katie and then took his own life. KREM 2 was at her funeral in Boise, where her brother spoke about his relationship with his sister.
I don't feel like the part of me that Katie is has been lost in any way. That connection is grander than anything here on earth.
Katie's family received $375,000 in a settlement in exchange for dropping a $3 million lawsuit against U of I. The family donated that money to the Katie Memorial Fund. Her murder did spark changes on campus, including a new policy prohibiting student-faculty relationships. U of I also has a Katie Benoit Safety Awareness Month in her honor every year. Students and staff are invited to attend a 10-year anniversary memorial for her on Sunday at 12:30. It'll be held at her bench located east of the admin building.
Well, a man accused of killing his longtime partner in Spirit Lake is now being held on $1 million bond. John Dalton Jr. was arrested in St. Mary's on Wednesday night. On Monday, friends and family had requested a check by law enforcement on 56-year-old Tina Swore. That's when deputies found her dead inside her home. They began to investigate then with Dalton as a person of interest. The Benoit County Sheriff's Office says they were able to locate Dalton because of help from the public. Friends tell us today would have been Tina's birthday.
Today, President Biden is defending the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. We'll have the latest on his message to trapped Americans and allies.
Plus, we'll also verify some viral claims about the situation in Afghanistan. That's all coming up next.